Thank you for standing by. This is the conference operator. Welcome to the Rubicon Organics Inc. Annual General Meeting. As a reminder, all participants are in listen-only mode and the conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Brian Disher, Chairman of the Board. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Brian Disher. I am the Chair of the Board of Directors, and I will act as Chairman of this meeting. Jesse McConnell, our CEO and also Director, Margaret Brody, CFO and Director, and Tim Roberts, President of Rubicon, are all in attendance and available at the end of this meeting to answer any questions. I now call the meeting to order. Due to the current state of the global COVID-19 pandemic and the corresponding public health restrictions on gatherings, we are holding this year's annual shareholder meeting via the Lumi virtual shareholder meeting platform. This allows registered shareholders to vote and to submit questions and comments to the moderator to be read and addressed at the meeting. If you do have a question or comment, please submit it through the system now, and we will answer it later in the meeting at an appropriate time. With the consent of the shareholders present at this meeting, I shall appoint Spencer Sivathrees to act as Secretary of the meeting and Frank Kallick from Odyssey Trust Company to act as scrutineer. Would the Secretary please assure us that the annual general meeting has been properly called?
I have before me an affidavit of a representative of Odyssey Trust Company attesting that the notice calling this annual general meeting together with the information circular and form of proxy were delivered in accordance with the Business Corporations Act of British Columbia and applicable securities laws. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, this annual general meeting has been properly called.
Thank you, Spencer. The report of the scrutineer indicates that the required quorum of shareholders is present at this meeting and that this meeting is regularly called, duly constituted, and ready for the transaction of business. I adopt the scrutineer's report and declare accordingly that a quorum is present. I direct that the scrutineer's report be kept by the Secretary with the minutes of this meeting. I now declare that the annual general meeting is regularly called and properly constituted for the transaction of business. So I now propose to deal with the business described in the notice calling this meeting. We will conduct each vote by way of vote cast on the Lumi platform and those submitted by proxy. I understand that the scrutineer has tabulated all the votes received prior to proxy voting cutoff. If you have previously voted, you do not need to vote again when prompted. By voting again, you will revoke any previous vote made prior to the proxy voting cutoff. We will now open the voting for all of the resolutions. We will proceed with each of the matters to be raised at this meeting and then report on the results of each motion at the end of the formal meeting. The first item of business is to receive the consolidated audited financial statements of the corporation for the fiscal financial year ended December 31, 2019, and the report of the auditors thereon. Copies of the financial statements have been mailed to all the shareholders entitled to copies thereof and are also located on the Lumi dashboard. Any questions on the financial statements will be answered once the formal part of the meeting is over. Accordingly, I declare the consolidated audited financial statements of the company for the financial year ended December 31, 2019, and the report of the auditors thereon are received by the shareholders as submitted to this meeting. The next item of business is electing the directors for the ensuing year. The Management Information Circular, which was mailed to shareholders, contains the names of and information about management's nominees to the Board of Directors. There are 5 positions to be filled, each to hold office until the next annual meeting of shareholders. I motion that Margaret Brody, Brian Disher, David Donnan, Jesse McConnell, and John Pigott be nominated as directors of the corporation to hold office until the next annual meeting of the shareholders or until their successors are elected or appointed. Each of the nominees has previously consented in writing to act as director. If there are no other nominations, I motion that nominations be closed. I motion that separate ordinary resolutions be passed electing Margaret Brody, Brian Disher, David Donnan, Jesse McConnell, and John Pigott as directors of the corporation to hold office until the next annual meeting of shareholders or until their successors are elected or appointed. I ask that you please submit your votes on this matter now if you have not already done so. The next item of business is the appointment of auditors. I motion that Deloitte LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, be reappointed as auditors of the corporation for the ensuing year, and that the directors be granted authorization to fix the remuneration to be paid to Deloitte LLP for the ensuing year. I ask that you please submit your votes on this matter now if you have not already done so. The next item of business is for disinterested shareholders to pass an ordinary resolution approving amendments to the Equity Incentive Plan, the complete text of which is set out in Schedule A of the Management Information Circular for this meeting. Approval by disinterested shareholders means approval by a majority of votes cast by all shareholders at the meeting, excluding votes representing common shares beneficially owned by insiders of the company to whom awards may be granted pursuant to the Equity Incentive Plan and their associates. I motion that the amendments to the Equity Incentive Plan be approved pursuant to the first resolution set out on page 10 of the Management Information Circular. And I ask that you please submit your votes on this matter now if you have not already done so. The next item of business is for disinterested shareholders to pass an ordinary resolution approving amendments to the Deferred Share Unit Plan, the complete text of which is set out in Schedule B of the Management Information Circular for this meeting. Approval by disinterested shareholders means approval by a majority of votes cast by all shareholders at the meeting, excluding votes representing common shares beneficially owned by insiders of the company to whom awards may be granted pursuant to the Deferred Share Unit Plan and their associates. I motion that the amendments to the Deferred Share Unit Plan be approved pursuant to the second resolution set out on page 10 of the Management Information Circular. Voting will be closed momentarily, so I ask that you please submit your votes on this matter and any other matter if you have not already done so. And I'm now going to pause for 1 full minute, so we'll have a delay on the line to allow everyone to complete their voting before I close all matters for voting. Voting is now closed. I've been advised by the scrutineer that based on the preliminary results of voting, all resolutions have been approved by more than the requisite majority, and that the individuals nominated have been duly elected as the directors of the corporation. I declare the motions carried and the nominees to the board selected. At this time, I would ask if there is any other business which the shareholders would like to bring before the meeting. If not, all the business for which this annual general meeting was called has now been completed. And I will pause again for a minute to allow shareholders to enter any other business they'd like to bring before the meeting on the Lumi system. There being no further business brought before the meeting, I motion that the meeting be and is hereby terminated. So I now declare that the formal portion of this annual general meeting of the corporation is concluded. Thank you for your attendance and your continued support of Rubicon. So I will now hand the meeting over to our CEO, Jesse McConnell, to walk attendees through a presentation on the corporation. Jesse?
Thank you, Brian. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody who has joined us at our AGM 2020 and for your continued support of Rubicon. Now, I'm really excited to give you this presentation today, outlining what we've achieved over the course of this year, the platform we've built, and what's coming up for us and how we're going to be delivering on that strategy. So, Rubicon Organics is carving out a very important niche in the cannabis industry today at the intersection between premium and organic. And our mission is to grow the best cannabis on earth and for the earth. That's why we do things sustainably. That's why we compost on site. That's why we care about our environment. And our vision is to be the global brand leader in organic cannabis. And the way that we're going to do that is through focusing on our core values, focusing on growth for our employees and for our business and for our community. By doing that in a sustainable way, that means sustainable profitability. That means from everything we do, from packaging to processes, we focus on being carbon neutral. That's by giving our employees the freedom to make decisions, the freedom to fail quickly, so that we can learn from those and move forward quickly, and to capture that entrepreneurial spirit. And in everything we do, we try to have impact. Those decisions that drive impact for the bottom line, impact in our communities and the lives of the people that we work with every day. So very quickly, what is Rubicon Organics today? We find ourselves as one of only 6 organic certified LPs in Canada. We put together a world-class CPG team from across the globe over the last 2 years. We've built a platform of high-quality production with a 125,000 square foot hybrid greenhouse facility in the best microclimate in Canada for growing cannabis, Delta, British Columbia. Out of that facility, we're able to drive approximately 11,000 kilos of high-quality production. And in addition to that facility, we have 11 acres of licensed outdoor cultivation that currently has around approximately 1.5 acres of R&D production. And you can find our products in over 70% of the addressable Canadian marketplace. So where are we focused? We are focused on federally legal, recreational, and medical markets. Our primary focus is here in Canada with the launch of our first brand at the very beginning of this year. And our secondary focus is on the emerging markets in Europe, which we expect to be tremendous markets over the next 2 to 5 years. And we've planted our first flag in Germany with expected product to be launched there at the beginning of next year. As a result of this renewed focus, we've exited the U.S. in the beginning stages of this year, reallocating that capital to growth here in the Canadian marketplace and remaining focused on federally legal markets. Our strategy, in a sense, is a simple one. We are obsessed with quality. We are looking to win industry-leading margins for every gram we produce by building platform brands at each market pricing tier, a strategy known as good, better, best. And inside of that, will always be on the right-hand shoulder in the competitive set. We're focused on innovation, where our quality gives us a meaningful competitive advantage, and where consumers are willing to pay a premium. And the way that we judge this internally is we prioritize innovation that has a gross margin of over 50%. So in a nutshell, how we innovate on the plant production side is we put the very best quality flowers, our super premium quality flowers, in our anchor brand, Simply Bare Organic. And flowers that don't quite have the characteristics that meet the marker of super premium in every way end up in our tier 2 flower brand. And we also use those for things like concentrates and vapes. So the characteristics, the flavor profiles, the terpene profiles that consumers love, we're able to bring that to the fore in our concentrates and our vape products. And then flower products that are good category, but aren't quite that premium category, will end up in products that don't have, where the flavor profiles and characteristics are less important. Things like edibles and things like topicals. Now, consumers don't really care about the flavor of the product when they're rubbing skin cream on. And inside of our good, better, best categories, we have those pricing tiers, and you'll see Rubicon Organics always playing in the highest quality relative to the competitors in that pricing tier. That's where we want to position ourselves. The way that we're going to do this is by focusing on our core competencies. We focus our resources on what we are uniquely good at doing. And what we do better than anybody else in the space is grow organic, sustainable, terpene-rich flower, incredible quality flowers that consumers love. And then we're going to take that incredibly quality flower and we bring CPG innovation expertise to that. And we do that by designing and bringing high-margin premium products and brands to the Canadian marketplace and ultimately to marketplaces around the globe. And this is a space where we're able to do something that many of our competitors are not able to do, and that is by starting with an incredibly high-quality flower, we're able to produce high-margin, high-quality 2.0 products. It's a quality in, quality out process. And then the table stakes for that is CPG operational excellence. That means focusing on optimization throughout our supply chain. That means strong financial governance. And that means building sales and operational plans where we are forecasting on a monthly basis. And in the areas where we're not uniquely good at it, we outsource. We take an asset-light model. So in places like extraction, we take our very high-quality inputs, we bring them to partners who we have vetted to be excellent in those particular areas so that we can produce the sort of products that consumers love, and then we control the sales and branding of those products. So I'm very proud of the progress that we've made over the last 12 months. Some of the critical things that we've done in the development of this platform to launch future brands from is we launched our first platform brand, an anchor flower brand called Simply Bare Organic. This is BC grown, organic flower, sustainably produced, and done in the super premium category. And in the first 6 months of 2020, we already brought innovation to market. In addition to the first 2 strains that we launched in the 3.5 gram format, we launched 2 new strains, and we launched premium pre-roll SKUs against each one of those strains for a total of 8 SKUs in the marketplace today. We've got distribution in over 70% of the Canadian addressable market, so that's all the way from British Columbia into Ontario. We've established a route to market in Germany in an emerging marketplace that we think is going to be tremendous over the next 2 to 5 years. And we've received conditional approval to move from the Canadian Stock Exchange to the TSX Venture. So Simply Bare Organic is the tip of the spear for us. It's what has built our reputation in the Canadian marketplace, and with the reviews that we've gotten, retailers are very excited about seeing the rest of our innovation pipeline in our portfolio. So Simply Bare Organic launched at the very end of 2019 and in store early 2020, rave reviews, and I'll read you a few in a moment here. It's a rare combination of organic certified product and premium, a niche that we think is very hard to replicate. And the very first week of bringing that product to market, we were sold out on the BC Cannabis website. And I encourage you to go look up this feedback for yourself, but I won't read through all of these, but a few consumer feedback on Simply Bare Organic, best on the legal market. I've tried a lot of legal cannabis, and this is by far the best I've had yet. Amazing sweet smell and a delicious smoke. And from our retailers, Black Pro Cannabis, I would only sell Simply Bare if I could. One person bought 8 jars on the spot, 4 of each strain. That client has never bought more than one at once. That's the type of reputation for quality we are looking to build in the marketplace, and we have built in the marketplace, and it's really what's going to open those doors for us as we continue to expand our portfolio. This is the lineup of products that is currently available from Rubicon Organics, 4 different strains, each one with 3.5 grams and pre-rolls against for a total of 8 SKUs, and we'll continue to build that line up, and you'll see in a moment here what that looks like. Available across almost all of Canada, from BC to Ontario, and we'll be delivering the Quebec marketplace before the end of this year, which would give us distribution in over 90% of the Canadian addressable market, truly making us a nationwide brand. And we're planting a flag in the German marketplace. We think the European market is going to be a tremendous one as it grows over the next 2 to 5 years. It's a heavily regulated market, which works well with the Canadian regulations. And it's important to be there early so that you can establish distribution channels, build the relationships with partners over there, and then scale as that market scales. And you'll see our first products in market there before the end of the first half of next year. So a quick summary of that. Over the next 12 months, we are going to launch 3 new platform brands at different price points to articulate our good, better, best strategy, in addition to Simply Bare Organic. We're going to accelerate our innovation in 4 new product categories. So you'll see high-quality terpene-rich vapes come to market. You'll see 2.0 concentrates come to market. In addition to that, topicals and edibles, and approximately 10 new genetics that will come to market over the next 12 months, which will give us a much broader portfolio. We're going to extend our distribution to over 90% of the Canadian addressable market when we land at Quebec before the end of this year. We'll be in the European market, a market that we're very excited about in the long term, and the most important market in the short term is Germany. We'll finalize the upgrades to our hybrid greenhouse facilities so that we can continue to push the boundaries of quality and yield. That will be done before the end of this year. And then based on the results of the R&D that we've performed in our outdoor facility in both cultivation and genetics, we'll be expanding our outdoor grow facility operations in preparation for 2021 so that we can drive margin and product categories in 2.0. A quick look at our innovation pipeline and just a little bit more minutia. We'll have 4 to 6 new strains in the marketplace, H2 2020. We will have new pre-roll formats and new brands before the end of this year in the market. 3 to 4 new strains in H1 2021 of next year. Large format flower, so large bags for the consumer who loves that product, and that we can still maintain that margin on, but they want to buy more at once. In the vapes and edible category as well, and then in Q1 of next year, concentrates and topicals, and a new brand in the form of a concentrate brand. And the way that we're going to measure our success and the value that we create is through these 3 key financial milestones for us, which will be positive monthly EBITDA before the end of this year, the generation of free cash flow in H1 2021, and then the internal metric that we prioritize innovation by. We're looking to be a high-margin business, so we expect gross profit as a percentage of net sales to be greater than 50%. And this final slide is actually one of the ones I'm most proud of. It's the delivery of our commitments. Over the last year and a half, we have really worked hard on doing what we said we're going to do and setting expectations and meeting them. I'm very proud to say that we've been able to do that over the last year and a half. And you'll see our new milestones coming up here over the next 12 months. We expect to deliver on in a timely fashion and continue to build trust with our shareholders and with the investment community at large. I appreciate your support of Rubicon Organics, and I'm so proud of the team and what they've accomplished over the last 12 months, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be launching in the coming months and quarters. We've got some really great product, and we've got exciting new brands that are going to come to market. So I thank you again for your support of Rubicon Organics, and I'd open the floor to any questions that we have. I'll give it 60 seconds here. Okay, seeing no questions on our screen then, I thank you once again for your support. And that's it.